back to another episode of Inspiration Talks. I'm very excited about today's episode. I have a very special guest all the way from USA. Kanooble is with us. She is not only an author but also a great host and comedian. So, in order to know more about her, let's welcome Kanooble. Hi, Kanooble. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So, I would like to start our today's conversation with your early job. Like, what was your first job, and how did that affect in your career?
Honestly, my first job was at a pizza shop. I was 14, um, but it kind of taught me a lot, especially math wise. They didn't have any kind of calculator. And, when it came to tax and taking payments, I kind of had to figure all that out on the top of my head. So it definitely gave me my quick thinking and it definitely helped me with my finances later in life.
Okay, so somehow it helped you in learning more about finance. Okay, so like as you are an author and you are a host and you do jobs as well. So how do you manage your work and life all together?
Honestly, I use my Google Calendar. I put everything in there. When I wash my hair, I schedule mental health breaks for myself. I schedule everything through that so that I don't forget anything. I can put notes in. And it helps me stay on track because as you said, I have a lot going on. So
Yeah, so it's really hard to manage, but yeah, Google Calendar always helps. So what was your dream job when you were a kid?
honestly, until I went to college, my dream job was to be a detective.
Oh wow, so did you become?
I did not, no.
Oh, so do
Yeah,
you plan to
unfortunately,
become a detective in the future?
I could not and I can't. Unfortunately, I have health conditions that will not allow me to do that job.
Uh-huh. Okay, so if you get a chance to be back at your 18 years, if you become back to your 18 years old, so what advice would you recommend to your 18 years self?
Something I would tell my 18-year-old self is to speak up. Um, there's no reason to hide who you are or experiences you go through. You just have to be loud and proud about who and what you are.
That's right. So I would like to know about, okay, so what do you think is mental health?
Mental health is, first of all, everything. Let's start there. Mental health is your well-being. It's how you feel about yourself and how you perceive yourself and the world around you.
What causes mental health problems?
Well, I think it's always been common. I think now it's just more widely addressed and it's more mainstream to talk about it. When it comes to mental health, there are a lot of causes. It could be maybe something traumatic that happened to you, or the way you were brought up as a child or young adult. And also, it has to do with your genetics, where you come from, and what kind of mental health conditions run in your family. So.
Okay, so like if there is a case of mental health in the family, in the background, so do you think it will happen
There's
in
a
the
higher
members?
chance of it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It just means that there's a higher chance. It's not a definite, and it definitely depends on what the mental health condition is because they're all a little bit different. But usually, if it runs in the family, you just do have a higher risk, especially if it's your immediate family, like your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. You have a bit higher of a risk.
Okay, so here comes another question. How do we know that this person is has the problem of mental health?
Depending on what the mental health condition is, there are signs. Like depression, for example, this person looks like they're having a hard time. They don't look happy or excited about anything. They have a hard time leaving the house. It's hard to make plans with them. Or when you have somebody who has, let's say, like an identity disorder or a schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, you'll notice changes in their facial expression and in their moods that happen rapidly. It's the same with borderline personality disorder. It's a quick change in mood, a quick change in their entire persona. You kind of see it and then it's gone, but you notice the signs.
Okay, by these signs, we can know that one other person is going via the mental health problem. So,
Yeah.
how do you prevent mental health problems?
Education, honestly. By educating people more on mental health and what the symptoms are and what the signs are, it's going to be easier to manage for anybody who actually has them. Because right now, people don't know. They
Yeah.
don't know what could trigger somebody or that they're being triggered or what that even means. But by spreading that information around and spreading the education, it's going to make it easier for everybody to manage. And it's going to make it easier for it as it goes, like you said, more mainstream and more common to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. So, how to make more awareness about mental health?
Well, you can start by sharing posts that you see or talking to someone about it. Talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist. Just try to learn for yourself, do some research online. Um, there is a page that's being launched soon that has everything you could possibly need. That's, one of my main projects that I'm working on is for mental health, to spread awareness. So it's it's going to be a one-stop shop. There's going to be interviews with people who have mental health conditions to show you what it looks like. There's an informational podcast, and then there's also, like memes and pictures and info and stuff like that you can find.
Okay, that's great initiative. So, from here, I would like to know, how do you maintain your mental health?
I make sure I schedule mental health breaks for myself. And that means that time is just for me, alone, by myself, to really sit and think. No phone, no electronics, no distractions, just me by myself. So I can really think about how I'm feeling and what I'm going through and process my day.
Uh-huh. Okay, so do you think that social media affects our mental health? Like, is
Absolutely.
so how to avoid social media? So should we avoid more social media, or should we keep some specific timings to use social media?
I think it should be restricted, the amount of time spent on social media. The more time we spend on social media, the more we see that might make us feel a different way about ourselves or about the world around us. So it's important to stay in touch with reality here and not use it as a coping mechanism to distract you from what's going on in the outside world.
That's right. So if I ask you, how many hours should a person use social media? So how many hours would you recommend?
Well, I'll give you a generalized because a lot of people use social media for their jobs. My business, I do too. I'd say maybe no more than 3 hours scattered throughout the day, and it shouldn't be consecutive. You should never be on social media for more than an hour consecutively.
That's right. But nowadays, people use more than 3 hours. I'm like, 3 hours is nothing. When you start scrolling, it takes hours and hours, maybe half day. It consumes more than
Yeah.
half day even.
We call
Okay.
that doom scrolling here.
Okay, so it is called as scrolling. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
doom scrolling.
So do you scroll?
Not anymore. Honestly, I used to for a really long time, especially through TikTok. It's so easy to keep swinging through those videos. But
Yeah.
when I noticed how much time I was spending on it, I was like, I could have gotten so much more done. Now I set timers if I'm on an app or a website to limit myself for how long I've been on there. So I can say, all right, it's been an hour. It's time to put it down and do something else.
Okay, that's much better. I mean, like putting timers are much convenient, but you can even change the timers if you want more than that, if you want to extend the time.
Yeah. Well, it's all about how you hold yourself accountable and how much do you really want to be better, you know?
That's right. So, how do you define success? If I ask you what is success, then what would you like to say on it?
Success to me means that you feel fulfilled with the life that you're living. It doesn't mean that your life is perfect or that you have a ton of money or you have everything you ever dreamed of or a really successful company or social media or whatever the case may be, a lot of followers. It means that you feel fulfilled. You set a goal for yourself and you fulfilled that goal or you're working really hard towards it. It's being proud of yourself and what you've done.
Yeah, that's right. So, as you mentioned the word followers, so I would like to know that nowadays people are running after the followers, like whether they're using Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, they are after the people who follow them. They will like, the more the followers are, the more they will become popular. So, do you think having more followers increases your reputation, increases the chances of reputation, or is it much better to have few subscribers or followers?
Honestly, I don't think either way is better or worse as long as you're monitoring why you need those followers. If you feel you need those followers, you need to be seen, that's something you need to work on with yourself because the more followers you have, the less people you actually know that are following you. These are people that see into your life, what you're doing, who you are, what you've done, what you're going to do. So you just have to tread very carefully when it comes to getting a lot of followers. It's not all about the people who follow you, it's the quality of the people that you have.
That's right. So like it depends on the quality more. So if is it much better to invest money or save money?
That's a double-edged sword. It depends on where you are in life. I'm in my 30s, so at this point, investing is going to be my answer. But if I was still in my 20s, then saving would absolutely be my answer. Um, there's a lot to pay off once you get into your 30s. There's a lot to invest in. So you want to make sure you have that money saved. You want to make sure you put money away every time you get some.
So like, it's much better to invest in 30s. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's much better to save in 20s and invest in 30s in your business.
Right.
Okay. So okay, let's move towards some imagination questions. Let's imagine and inspire. So, Kanooble, if you win $10 million, for example, tomorrow, how will you spend that money?
I would cut it down the middle between my son and myself. I would take
Okay.
my money and I'd pay off all my debts and I would travel the world.
Okay, that's great to know. So if you get a chance to live anywhere in the whole world, what country will you choose to live for one whole year?
I would probably go to Germany. I would just go to Germany.
Okay, why? Like, do you
I'm
love
German
the environment? Okay, you're German. Oh, that's great to know.
and I've
So,
never been. So
okay, so you never went to Germany like till now.
no,
Okay, I hope you get a chance to visit Germany soon.
me too.
And okay, so uh, if you had a chance for time machine, would you prefer to go in your past or in your future?
My future. My past is my past. Been there, done that. I learned a lesson. I'd go to my future just to see what's going on.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, does anyone inspires you in life?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily inspires me, but definitely my mom is definitely my role model. She works hard. She does not take no for an answer, and there's a persona that like a kind of a vibe that she gives off that people don't mess with her, and I want to achieve that in my life. People don't talk down to her. People don't even curse around her for the most part. So I want to get that energy.
Okay, you want to get her energy, you want to be like her. That's great. So, what do you think the world will be in the next 50 years?
Probably a little messier than it is now, but not much different.
So, how do you relieve stress when you are stressed?
I usually make journal pages with different stickers and ripped up paper and different little buttons and stuff. I design a journal for myself. I haven't written in it yet, but actually designing the pages gives me joy. So
Okay, that's great. So, do you ever get angry?
not anymore. I just get disappointed. And I think that makes people feel worse.
Okay. So, what are your current struggles and future goals?
Well, this year, up until this year, was my mental health. Now that I've really gotten that kind of fine tuned for the most part, I'd really like to work on my ADHD, which is really attention deficit disorder. It's a mental illness. I do not stop to think about things. I'm very impulsive. I just go. There's no like, maybe this is a bad idea. I'm just like, let's do it. And I need to work on that. So,
So, like, you think a lot.
yeah.
Oh, overthinking is also good for some reason, but extra overthinking is not good for health even.
Right.
So, how do you prevent overthinking?
Writing everything down. Instead of just reacting or just doing what I'm thinking, I write it down first. Because if
Does
I could
that-
take the time to write it down, that means I'm taking the time to think about it.
Okay, so does that help?
Yeah, so far.
Okay, so do you do that every day? Like
I do it when I remember to do it. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. So
Yeah, nobody's perfect. That's obvious. If everybody would have been perfect, then what's the use of this humanity on this earth?
exactly.
What's one piece of advice which you would like to share with my listeners?
Live your life with intent. And definitely be yourself. Most of the time I see a lot that people are living through a persona or a mask or the way that they want people to perceive them. Stop faking who you are. Don't wear no mask. Don't be fake in any way. Just be who you are. People will love you for it, I promise. And live intentionally. Do things that you want to do for you. Otherwise you won't feel fulfilled with your life.
That's right. Be yourself always and do the things which you love. So, any tips for those who want to do their own business?
Number one, make a plan. What do you want from your business? What kind of business do you want to have? What do you want your customers to look like? What do you want your mission or your message to be with your business? Are you looking to help people? Are you looking to just make money? Are you looking to do both? You have to sit down and really hash out what you want from your business before you take any steps in another direction.
Yeah, that's right. So, any tips for growing business?
Look for your competition. What's your competition? What are they doing? Because whatever they're doing, you're going to do the opposite. Same job, same business, totally different perspective and totally different step to achieving the same goal. That's what's going to draw your customers. You need to do something different.
That's right. Usually, what people do is if they see the other person, whoever are in the competitions, they will try to imitate each other, but by improving that product. So, do you think is it worth like when people copy from one another?
It's a waste of your time. Because I'm going to look at two businesses that are copying each other, and then I'm going to look over here and there's going to be that one business who's doing things totally different. That's the one that's going to catch my attention. That's the one I'm going for. I don't want 7 copies of the same business. I want something different.
Yeah, that's right. So it was great talking with you, Kanooble. I really enjoyed our today's conversation. Here is a small gesture from me to you.
Oh, thank you.
So would you like to say something in the end, Kanooble?
Sure. Let's sum it up. Take care of yourself. Be yourself. Take care of your mental health because your mind runs your body. Body, mind, and spirit all intertwined. So you want to make sure you're addressing all of them accordingly. Make sure you're taking time out of your day for yourself. And if you want to start a business and be successful, number 1, hash out a plan. But number 2, remember that success is how you feel about yourself.
That's right. So thank you all for watching. See you in another episode, and
I don't. I have a bottle.